Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Simply Crystal Nails. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 3 ways to apply water slide nail art decals. So the first technique is the cured method. Now, a couple of these methods are fairly similar, so there's not going to be much difference. And so with this method, I start off by prepping the nails, and by prepping, I mean adding a base coat. So the base coat color that I'm adding is a white gel polish from Model 1, and I'm placing 2 coats of polish to get a pigmented look while curing for 1 minute in between each coat. Now I'm taking my gelish top coat and I'm placing 1 layer of that clear on top of that nail, and I'm placing that under the lamp to cure for 1 minute. So while that's curing, I'm going to take this time to prep the decal, and I'm going to be using this skull. And when I'm prepping my skull, I like to leave a border around the image. The border doesn't have to be perfect, and there's really no correct way to do this. You just want to make sure that you leave enough border that you're comfortable with so that you're able to manage your decal when it's fully cut. Now, once that is completely cut, I'm going to pop that in the water for about 15 seconds. And you really want to wait until the connecting paper is fully saturated with water. I'll then pull my nail from under the lamp, and without wiping the tacky layer off the nail, I'm going to remove the decal from the paper just by sliding it, and I'm literally meaning that it will slide off at this point, and place that decal where I'd like it to go. Now, if you're working fairly quickly, this method is great because once that decal is completely dry, it will adhere to the nail. So I'm just smoothing that nail out, which is something that you want to do. And I'm also kind of stretching it because this paper does stretch. And I am at this point just trying to work things out, make sure it's perfect. You'll have a little time to do that. And then once I have that nail on there the way that I want, I'm going to go in with my top coat polish. I'm going to place 1 coat on top and then cure that, and then place a 2nd coat on top and cure and wipe when I'm finishing. At this point, you're pretty much done. So the second method is what I like to call the uncured method. This method is very similar to the first method. So right now what I'm doing is finishing off the prep process. I've already applied the 2 coats of white polish, and now I'm adding my top coat. Now, instead of curing the nail as we did in the first method, I'm just going to leave it uncured. This method is literally the same method used when you're applying like a rhinestone or any other type of nail decal. So I have cut out my face, Jack the Skeleton, and I'm placing him into the water. And the process of removing the water decal is literally the same no matter what process you're doing. So now that Jack is ready to come out of the water, we're just going to remove him from his backing, and then we're going to take that uncured nail and place him in the area that we want to place him in. As you can see, he just melts into the nail like a magnet, and there is literally no smoothing that you have to do with this technique. Now, this technique is also great for those intricate decals that require a lot of positioning because the decals won't dry or get stuck. Now, once that's placed to your liking, you can pop that under the lamp and cure it for 1 minute. And what I'm doing right now is a little extra. I'm adding a French tip so that Jack's head can look round enough. I totally did not do this for the French tip aesthetic. It was solely done so that my boy could have a round head and not a cone head. Once I'm done applying that black polish, I'm just going to pop him under the lamp for 1 minute, then go back in for a 2nd coat, pop that under the lamp for another minute, and then apply 1 to 2 more top coats to the nail. Now, I've applied 3 total coats to the nail because that was what I was comfortable with. I ended up applying 2 glossy gel top coats, and then I finished it off with a matte top coat to give it a seamless finish. Now we are at our third and final technique, and I like to call this technique, the encapsulating method. For this method, I am totally diving into a new set of decals so that I can get a bigger face. And these decals that you see are actually created by myself. And so if you're interested in purchasing this set, I will leave all of that information down below in the description box. And just so you know, this sheet contains 6 large heads, 6 medium, and 12 small heads. Anyhow, I'm cutting out the face of the monster, and most people like to think that Frankenstein was the monster, but Frankenstein was actually the doctor, and I'm just preparing his hair for application. Don't I feel like I'm Frankenstein right now? So instead of using the white polish, I'm actually feeling a little festive. So I'm taking this green gel polish and I'm applying 2 coats as the base. And this will be the start of my monster face. So I'm following the same steps that I did in the first and second technique to remove the water decal, and once that's off, I'll just place that on my nail. Now, something that I forgot to mention is that on the step that I added the green polish, you can definitely substitute that technique for a hard gel application or an acrylic base layer. They all end up coming out the same, but they're just a different technique. Just depends on how you want to do the nails. Now I'm going in with my handy dandy acrylic and I'm applying a clear layer of acrylic on top of that design. So I've gone ahead and filed the acrylic off camera, and right now I'm just adding a primer. Now I am taking the black polish, same polish that I used to carve out Jack the Skeleton's head. I wanted to do the same thing with Frankenstein or the monster. So I'm just carving out his head and just painting the tip of that black, only due to the design aesthetic, and I'm finishing that off with a matte top coat. So here are the final designs. I hope that you all enjoyed this little lesson session. If you have, don't forget to press that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I thank you again for joining me. See you in the next video. Bye!